Today we are here in the center of Ibiza to discover a beautiful project from Andrea, a woman from Barcelona who quit her job to embrace the journey of regeneration for Ibiza and for the future generation as well. Let's go! Hi Andrea.
Hi, Alessia.
I am so happy to be here doing this interview with you. And first of all, I would like to ask you what is the story that brought you here on this land in the center of Ibiza?
Well, thank you as well for coming and for being excited about this project, which excites us all. I used to work in marketing, office work, London. It was a work home, home work lifestyle. I used to work for an oil company. There came a moment where every time I would send an email, I would feel like I was, killing a tree at a time. I really wasn't aligned with what I was doing, and I fell into depression. And one day on the street in London, I found a flyer that took me to this event that were like speakers were talking about soil, soul, and society. It was an event by Satish Kumar, who's somebody that I recommend everyone listening to. I quit my job the day after, and I got a backpack and I traveled across Australia for a year. I felt in love with Australia, and more so, I felt in love with permaculture. And there I had the chance to live in a lot of permaculture communities and learn what permaculture what they were doing there. It's Australia is the birthplace for it, so the techniques, the knowledge that they have there was just amazing. Now it's just the universe, life itself that's combined both. So the business side and how to run a business, the marketing, everything from that world was combined with my passion, which is to care for what nourishes us and to do so in a sustainable manner.
So, what is Terra Viva is about? Could you tell us more a little bit in detail about the project?
So this project came about from a desire to motivate the transition from conventional farming into regenerative. What regenerative is all about, which is what people are asking a lot right now, it goes beyond organic. So while organic is, there are techniques that are focused on extraction and they're focused on production, regenerative's priority is more into bringing back health to the soil, where the priority now is the soil and everything else is just a consequence. A consequence that actually is a much more positive, much more generous, and much more vibrant consequence, but that is the main difference. So we can no longer talk about organic and talk about organic being sustainable, because organic, what you do is you don't use pesticides, you don't use chemical pesticides, but you're still just extracting. While regenerative, what you do is that you close the circle by extracting and giving back. And it's all about that giving back that is essential to produce food that is good for us, that nourishes us, to produce food that is truly sustainable. The main idea of regenerative and the main idea what we have here in this farm is something called polyphase. Polyphase was created by Joel Salatin, an American farmer. And it's the idea of, rather than having individual operations, individual monoculture operations, we combine them all. And by combining them all, what could have been perceived as the waste of one of the areas is now a gain that is gained by another operation that is joined within the farm. So for instance, our design, it includes a vegetable garden, it includes the rotations of our chickens, it includes the whole syntropic agroforestry design. And for the chickens, the trimmings that we use for their sheds when they're babies, which is full with nitrogen, would have been as a waste if it had been just a chicken farm. But for us, it's actually gold, and it's something that we could not have like it's priceless. And all of that trimmings with this nitrogen we then take into the veggie garden. The sheep, for instance, when they're grazing, it's no longer a waste. Their feces are no longer a waste, but actually something that we require to increase soil health and to increase the microbiology of our soil. So by combining all of these operations, they no longer are separate, they're actually supporting each other. And then with regenerative as well, there's 5 different main techniques that are used. But for me, in my opinion, the most important of regenerative is livestock, and the inclusion of livestock within a system to do it in a way that really will, the animal really will help with this soil health increase. So for instance, for our chickens, we have, it's called something PRV design, where these chicken tractors, they're moved every day. We take an hour and a half to move all of our tractors and to feed all of our chickens. These structures are super light, easy to move, and it means that the chickens, they are able to have fresh pasture, fresh insects, and they're able to bring in with their feces all of their nitrogen, but not so much that will toxify the soil. In chicken farms, the feces of a chicken is one of the most toxic waste that there are in agriculture, because they're really, really, really nitrogen dense, so much that they can burn the soil. But just by including these fence and having this hour and a half a day of movement, we ensure that they don't over toxify the soil. They're actually bringing the microbiology that is exactly needed, and that they won't go back to that place until 28 days later, which means that we give enough time for pasture to grow and for insects to get back into their habitat.
I also saw that you are more like an educational point. I would like to know more about this, and I think it's like the core of your project here, no?
Yeah, exactly. So pretty much the reason for our existence and to really empower this transition into regenerative is all through education. We do farming retreats for people that want to respect what nourishes them by knowing how it grows. So their introduction, you don't need to know about farming before, you don't need to be a farmer. And the 6-day retreat, what we do is that we go into regenerative farming, and then during the evenings we bring in activists, international activists, to talk about how we can each of us regenerate the bubble that we're in. So it's not just about agriculture that we need to regenerate, we need to actually rethink the whole system, and every person can really support within this regenerative movement. And then we do courses for kids, interactive courses to learn about the importance of the soil. We do a lot of tours, and everyone is welcome here to learn as much as all that we have. We just want to share with the world. So
The last thing that I would like to ask you is if someone would like to create like an eco project, like an eco reality, but it feels overwhelmed because he doesn't know where to start and how to start, what would you suggest?
be fearless. Be fearless. Literally, I think that's the ultimate recommendation. Because I mean, there's so much to do. There's so and such uncertainty. This is something that is new to us all. But you just do day by day, little by little. I think that's the beauty of doing an eco project, that you are aligned with nature, and nature works at its own speed. So we're also actually connecting to that. To that rhythm. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, be fearless and do it.
I feel so inspired and happy after this conversation with Andrea, and I really hope to come back one day on this land and see it blooming and thriving. I hope that this conversation enjoy you as well as me, and see you for the next videos. Bye bye.